I figured I'd take advantage of being off trail due to my knee injury, and just thought I would film an updated gear video because I have altered some of the items and lightened my load a bit. So while I'm here at Trail Angel Denny's house, my new friend, I thought I would take advantage of this time and show you what I'm carrying now. That's different from what I started with. But I have not been able to weigh the pack. I'm looking for the next opportunity to weigh, but let me show you what I'm carrying now and I'm comfortable with, but I can't wait until spring where I can get rid of some.
Unbelievably, I can't even get everything in the frame of this camera. I purposely left space between the items so that I can zoom in and talk about each item. But I'm not going to give you details on each item. I will break down some of the things in another video right after I film this, like for example, what is in my toiletry bag and what I think about my North Face rain jacket and all that. So let me just go over what I'm actually carrying. So we'll start on the left. These are the clothes I'm actually hiking in. So this is, I'm able to show you everything because I'm wearing town clothes. The only thing I can't show you is the phone that I'm on. All right, so starting from my head, that green thing on the top is my Smartwool buff, and then a bra and an Under Armour base layer. It's just that moisture wicking, thermal base layer. That's long sleeve. I have a t-shirt that I often just throw on top of the long sleeve that's above it. And if it's really warm, I can just wear the t-shirt. But those are the two hiking shirts, a long sleeve base layer or just, it's, I think it's Columbia actually, the t-shirt. It's moisture wicking, but it's just lightweight and fast drying. Underwear and a pair of the Under Armour base layer bottoms. So the bottoms and top match. They're just a mid-weight base layer. They've so far not been too warm or too cold for me in all the weather I've been facing. On the left here, the socks are liners, very thin sock liners. And the two pairs of socks you see, obviously I only wear one pair at a time. The green ones are Darn Tough and the others are Smartwool, and they're a little thicker and a little higher, so, and a little more cushion on the bottom. So I just pick and choose depending on how my feet are feeling and which ones are wet or dirty, but one pair of liners, two pairs of socks. My sneakers are La Sportiva, and I'm going to have to go up a half a size, I think, when I replace them. I think I have another 200 miles or so. I'm looking to get to Hot Springs and then go a half size up, and I may switch out to Merrell's, but I'll report on that. Right now I love these La Sportivas, and the insole in the middle is what Rob at Outdoor 76 in Franklin set me up with the day before I started my hike because I was having metatarsal foot pain, and he gave me those insoles which have a pretty stiff arch, and he just cut out a DIY, he just took a cushion and cut out a little pad and taped it to that insole right on the spot of my foot that needed attention, and it has worked perfectly. I've had no foot issues at all. Because of my knee, I've been wearing a brace. I'll discuss my knee later. So that's an Ace knee brace. I always have this half of a bandana that I cut in half and sewed a little buttonhole in, and it hangs on my pack as a snot rag. Depending on the weather, I've got an Old Navy. It's just a cheap fleece quarter zip. Not expensive, but it's perfectly fine. It's kept me warm. It's comfortable. It dries quick. I'm really happy with that. And if it's especially cold, I'll throw on that beanie. It's just a fleece Under Armour beanie. If it's raining, I've got my North Face rain jacket. It helps with the wind as well, and I'll do a review on that. And Columbia rain pants, just your basic generic wind and rain pants. If needed, I've got rain mitts that I got at Neil Gap last year at Mountain Crossings. Those are good if it's raining or windy. And if it's really cold, I have these fleece mittens, the gloves, so I left one exposed so you can see that you can pull the mitten over it or expose the fingers and thumbs so I can use my phone or just have some agility if I'm setting up camp or whatnot. So that's pretty much it for hiking. And over here, we'll never hike in. That's my Puffy. That's a Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisperer with a hood. I will never hike in that. I don't want to sweat in it or get rain on it. Don't want it to get wet, but that's good for stopping for lunch or at camp, and I often sleep in it. for sleep is the top and bottom. I've got the Under Armour 4.0 Expedition Weight top, and right on top of it is an extra buff. That's a luxury item. I like to use that as a pillowcase because I just use a stuffed sack with some extra clothes as my pillow, but my hair is a hot mess, and if that buff I've been hiking in is wet and sweaty, it's just a preference. It makes me feel good to have a dry, clean buff to put on my head. So the Expedition Weight top and a buff, a fresh, dry pair of socks that never see the light of day, only for camp, and the same Expedition Weight 4.0 Under Armour base layer bottom. So those are my sleep top and bottom, and with my new quilt, sometimes those are even too hot, so I think I'm good for this cold weather. Compression socks that go over my feet and ankles that I put on after hiking at camp, and my camp shoes are just your basic gray Crocs. My quilt up here, it looks humongous on this, but that is an Enlightened Equipment 10-degree quilt. It's the Revelation, so it zips at the toe box and the rest is a quilt, and I love it. And under that is the Thermarest Neo Air X Therm inflatable sleeping pad, and to the right of that is the inflation sack that came with it. I don't store the sleeping pad in it. I actually use that as my pillow, the stuff sack, and shove some clothes in that, and usually we'll just keep my sleep clothes in that while I'm packing it. So the pad and the stuff sack it came with. My tent, at the very top is the Rainfly. I have a Big Agnes HVUL2 Fly Creek, and the top is the Rainfly, and it's not in a stuff sack. I just shove it in my bag. Under that, the yellow little tube, that's the actual tent. That's the only thing I keep in the stuff sack, and the poles and stakes are in the long, skinny little sack underneath that. And here, the dark gray with the yellow strap is the ground sheet that comes with the tent. I purchased that this year so I could work on a dry pitch, which allows me to set up the tent in the rain, putting the fly on first without getting the interior of my tent wet. And just that little white folded thing is like a 2-foot section of Tyvek just to put in my vestibule to help control the mud. My pack is an Osprey Asia. I bought that last year. Sitting on top of it is the brain. It's not connected. I think I'm going to be mailing that home. I don't need it. I've gotten rid of enough items that I don't need the extra space, because for me and my personality, if I have more pockets and room, that gives me permission to pack more stuff, and I'm trying to keep my load light, so I think I'll be sending that home, and I'll discuss the pack later. The only thing hanging off my pack is my, can't really see it here, but that's my through hiker badge, the red part, and a little patch from the Appalachian Trail Women's Group on Facebook. So hopefully some of the women who we chat with online will recognize each other's patches and stop each other on the trail and meet in person. When the weather gets warmer, which will hopefully be soon, I keep a tick key strapped to the outside of my pack. Other than that, that's all that's hanging off of it, except for that snot rag right there. That would be on the front of this pack. And just under it is my little Z seat, my butt pad. All right, so that's pretty much it for all the basic things. Now all these little items inside. I carry this, all right, underneath all this stuff is the Z-Packs all-purpose, what is it called? I don't want to call it a fanny pack because I can carry it on my chest or around my waist. I can strap, adjust the straps to be a backpack, like a day pack. So it's like an all-purpose pack on Z-Pack. So in it, I keep it strapped across my chest, and the items that are sitting on top of it are what I keep in it. So right to the left of the screen here is my earbuds. I've got a little compass and a thermometer. It weighs virtually nothing. It's a little keychain. I have an emergency whistle so my backpack has a whistle on it, but I like to have that emergency whistle on me in case I don't have my pack with me. So honestly, I just stick it down my bra. That way, if I walk away from my pack or leave my tent at night and I don't have the whistle attached to my pack, and I get lost or injured, I will have that. There's a little knife, looks pretty big on this screen, but it's about the size of my thumb. That black tube there is mace. There's some chapstick, a little Z-Pack wallet, and in that plastic bag, which I like to keep just attached to my chest, are emergency items I might need just during the day. That little bottle is purifier in case my water filter is faulty or freezes. There's some medication, one tiny little single size antibiotic, and a couple Band-Aids, but that's about it. Just some things I may need really quickly. That's pretty much all I keep with me, but in that pack also is just these items. My headlamp, it's a black diamond, and a little pouch that I'll keep the food du jour on. So whether it's my lunch, that's packed there right now, and a little titanium spoon, just quick access for snacks and lunch, so I don't have to dig through my whole pack. All right, over here, that yellow sack is a Sea to Summit dry sack, and that's where my toiletries are. I'll do another video to show you what I'm carrying. That little towel is about the size of a face cloth, and it's actually a microfiber towel that I cut in half. This has turned out to be my favorite gear item. Boys, I'm sorry if I'm offending you, but that's my peanut butter jar and a Freshette female urination device. I can talk to you girls separately. Not going to go into that right now. In the outside pocket of my backpack, I keep an odor-proof Ziploc bag that has my little trowel, toilet paper, hand sanitizer, some little baggies here, the little doggy bags. I told that I explained to you that I pack out my toilet paper if I'm just going #1, so I don't have to dig a 6-inch hole just for a little bit of toilet paper. And the little pink flags right there, if I have to go a little too far off the trail for my comfort, if I can't see the trail, then I'm going to hang 1 or 2 of those pink flags so I don't end up to be one of those victims that get lost and their body is found when really we all think it will never happen to us. So I have children, I have people who do care about me, and I'd like to get home. Once I get to camp here, sadly my eyes are crappy and I have 2 pairs of glasses. I tried to get it down to 1 pair of progressive lenses, but they just made me nauseous. So the little case is very lightweight. It's mostly made of foam, but I do have distance glasses and reading and mid-distance glasses, so that stinks that I have to carry those, but it is what it is. In a Ziploc bag, I've got 1 pen. I've got just about 300 miles worth, I think up to Hot Springs, of the AWOL guide that I tore those pages out, so when I get closer to Hot Springs, I will send for the next 300 or 400 miles. And there's just a little journal in there that I am probably going to send home. I find I'm not writing in it enough to justify the weight, and even though I can say, oh, it only weighs a few ounces, it is a few ounces, and I'm not using it. I tend to use the voice recorder on my phone if I have something to say at the end of the day, and then I can journal about it later when I get home. So that's probably going to be sent home. My electronics, I was thinking about doing another video, but really it's so basic I don't have to. The phone that's in my hand is an iPhone 7, and I'm hoping it will last me for the duration of this hike because it's been giving me some trouble, and you know, I think they make phones to give up after a couple of years. Once they're paid off, they break, right? So I have a mini Gorilla tripod. I have the Anker charger, 20, what is it called, Denny? Milliamps?
Yep.
Denny's down there. I'm going to show Denny. Say hello!
Howdy.
Thank you for letting me crash at your humble abode.
Anytime.
This is such a beautiful home. Such a beautiful home. Anywho, the Anker 20,000 milliamps. And here's a suggestion that another hiker, actually getting there, had told me. So many of us have the same charger and the same Z-Pack all-purpose pouch that I put a sticker on it to identify that that one's mine. It says Wander. And I'm looking for some kind of thing just to stick on the zip pull, or maybe I'll hang a little compass off of the pack so that in the shelters we don't grab each other's by mistake. Okay, so back to electronics. The tripod and the battery charger and a little Sea to Summit pouch. It's about the size of my hand. It's really kind of tiny and really light. And I just have the Anker quick charge wall port and associated charging cords for my phone and that brick. That's pretty basic electronics, as little as possible. I have an umbrella that I brought with me. It's a Sea to Summit travel umbrella. I didn't know if I would want it or not, but I brought it with me. I forgot about it the first week. It was tucked on the outside of my backpack, and it kind of went to the bottom of the outside pocket, and I forgot about it. And it rained the whole time. The second week, I reached my hand in and said, whoa, well, looky there. I brought an umbrella. And I used it and absolutely love it. It's a game changer. So I do like my umbrella. And there's a Z-Packs pack cover. It's a large that I had hoped would fit my pack better, but it really doesn't. So I'm not pleased with the fit. So I'm looking for a better solution to that. All right, my kitchen, or water and food. I use the Be Free Katadyn 1 liter filter, which is here on the left. It still has a little bit of water in it. And that filter is interchangeable. This is a Hydra Pack Seeker. It's 2 liters. So generally during the day, I will be using this 1 liter filter, and I have just a small water bottle that I don't have with me now. I need to buy another one. But whether it's Smart Water or, any type of water bottle, sometimes it's a Gatorade bottle, and I just fill it and keep it in the side pocket of my pack because it's made for easy access. I actually like the side pockets there. So, just a small water bottle and this 1 liter filter during the day. At night, so the last water source, or when I get to the shelter or campsite at night, the last stop is to fill this 2 liter, so I have enough water for consumption, for cleaning, for cooking dinner, for breakfast. So that's really the only time I will use that. And in the summer, or if I'm in dry areas, like last year where there was very little water supply, I felt comfortable buying this for this year because I can carry more water. My food sack is, I think it was $8 or $10. It was from Academy Sports, and it's a Magellan waterproof sack that has come up drier than some of the other hikers I've seen who've spent more on their sack. So I'm very pleased with my thrifty purchase here. So that has about maybe 2 days worth of food right now. It's not fully loaded. I have a Tokes 700, it's a 750 cook pot with a lid. The lid doesn't stay on very well, so I keep the orange little stuff sack it came in. In there I keep the fuel, a lighter, my stove, which is the MSR Pocket Rocket, a little plastic scraper, and a half a bandana. I have a Sea to Summit mug. That's a collapsible mug, and the titanium spork. And this is my cozy. It's made by Anti-Gravity, and I like it. So this is the little thermal bag that I'll do my freezer bag cooking in. This plastic bag is my trash bag, and that little black sack is just made of netting, and it has the paracord and carabiner for my bear bag hanging. And that, my friends, is everything. The only thing that isn't showing here is the phone that's in my